Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we explore entertaining and enlightening discussions of the adventure of life and all things good. From science and technology to history and philosophy to leadership and success. We hope to give you a better understanding of the world and skills for everyone to pursue their own adventure.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we talk about all things good and the pursuit of the adventure of life. I'm Rafe, and we got a great show this week again because it's the Buff, right? That's why we do what we do here. I'm doing solo things today. Zach and Harry and the others are out on doing their own thing. So you just got me here for today's session. We're going to be talking about some good things, seeking the good in possibly strange places. But before we get there, I want to say thank you to all our listeners. Without you, we wouldn't be where we are. All right. So we are grateful that you have made us a global top 10% podcast. You can reach us as always at bufnagle@bufnagle.com. And if you are new to our podcast, welcome. Thank you for coming. We are glad that you are here. Please, give us a handful or a bucket load or a whole tractor full of episodes and see if we don't give you a reason to come back for more, and tell a friend to listen and you will get a free episode. So remember, share the love, share the buff, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, get on the subscription list because that makes it great for us. Leave a 5-star review. That's even better. Tell all your friends, buy media, the resources out there and advertising for us. That would be great. You are our advertising budget. So anything you can do to help us out would be phenomenal. So here we are. It is solo week, and I wanted to talk. I'm going to talk about the movie Rocky, the original Rocky, not Rocky 75 or Rocky 26 or however many there were. I'm going to talk about the original Rocky, which came out in 1976. It was filmed over about a year from mid 75 to mid 76. And it became a cultural phenomenon, I guess. And it was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, winning 3, including Best Picture. And this came out in November of 76. So it was, that's like Christmas time, right? And they always have movies coming out at Christmas time. And this one came out at Christmas time, 76. And I was but a young lad growing up in Hartford, Wisconsin, age 11, almost 12 at that time. And for those of you who were there, you recognize what things were like with regard to the sporting world, what was happening in for your entertainment dollar and what you could watch. And boxing was a very big thing back then. It is certainly not now what it was then. The rise of things like MMA and all the different, all the WWF. There are a lot of other kinds of fighting, sporting entertainment venues out there for you. But back then, boxing was a big thing. Muhammad Ali was doing stuff. Joe Frazier was doing stuff. George Foreman was doing stuff all the way back then. And there were a lot of, the boxing was a thing. Now, it was never something I did. It was never something we did. I've never been to a boxing match, but occasionally you would catch them on TV, and they would be big, these big boxing matches like the one depicted in the movie are, they were a staple of the sports entertainment world. They were out there. So to get a picture of where we were, you have to start with that boxing was a really big thing, and it was different than it is now. And there was always been, and there's been this strange relationship I always saw in big cities like New York and Philly and Chicago, and of a relationship between the inner city church and youth boxing, which I also was kind of a strange mix. And there are religious overtones all over the Rocky movie, which is interesting to me, because I think most people think of boxing as something rather brutal, rather primitive, not very Christian. and it seems that way. But yet there are elements in what it takes to be a boxer, to be a pugilist. There are elements in there that are the same thing that we take on in a Christian life, in a life where we seek the good. So these are pieces that are all coming together for me. So I've watched the movie. I saw it probably not in December of 1976, but I'll bet I saw it in early 77. And it was like Star Wars that came out, I think probably later that summer. These were very big films in my youth, but they were also big films in understanding the culture at the time. So the general story, for those of you who have not seen it, there's a young guy, Rocky Balboa, who is he's just a bum. He's a bum boxer in Philadelphia. He lives a terrible life, at least from our standards, so it appears. He is highly impoverished. He lives in a terrible, terrible little apartment. He works as I guess they call him a leg breaker for a second-rate loan shark. And his job is, when the loan shark loans out money, Rocky has to go out during the week and beat these guys up to get their money back. And if they don't pay, he's supposed to break their thumbs or break their legs or throw them in the river or something. He's a heavy. Okay, that's what he is. He's a heavy. He's a leg breaker, and he works for a loan shark. And on the side, he is a boxer at small clubs where there's a lot of smoke in the air and everybody's drinking and throwing stuff at the boxers, and they get, $45. What did he get? $45 when he wins, and the loser gets 20. And it's a terrible way to be a young man. And he's in inner city Philadelphia. And there's a couple things interesting, at least for the start of this thing, is he has no family. He has a friend, Paulie, who is not he's not a very good guy. Paulie works at the meat house where they keep the sides of beef when they're processed. I don't know what he does there. He wears a white coat and he sneaks a drink between shifts, and he's not a very good guy. But Paulie is his best friend. Paulie is always trying to get on with the loan shark so he can get a job. And Paulie has a very, very painfully shy sister whose name is Adrian, and she works at the pet shop. And that is Rocky's life. It's the gym where he boxes, where he trains and smokes cigarettes and drinks and drinks. And then there's the pet shop that he stops by to flirt with with Paulie's sister, and his crappy little apartment, and the loan shark guy who tells him what to do and gives him his cut of the proceeds that he gets. So that's Rocky, and he lives this terrible, ugly life. But for some reason, in the first half of the movie, it's not all boxing. Just the last little bit is actually boxing. The first half of the movie is really a depiction of. It lays out who Rocky is, and I think the first thing to see in the movie and understanding who Rocky is he's a good guy. He does all sorts of things that you would not expect from him. Okay, so he is this big, brutish Italian guy. He wears a leather jacket and the fedora and these classy mid-70s boots. And he walks with that swagger that was a hip thing. If you were hip, you had that walk. And I think the walk. And he had that walk in the movie. And he's always wearing these like half gloves, so his fingers are exposed and the rest of his hand is covered. And it's cold in Philadelphia in November and December when this thing takes place. Rocky's always got like a racquetball, or maybe it's not a racquetball. It's a squash ball, and he's always carrying in his pocket and bouncing it on the ground as he's walking around from job to job, trying to figure out who he's going to harass next to get the money that is owed to the loan shark. So Rocky's this guy. He's a thug. He's a bum who lives in the really bad area. of Philadelphia, and he has a bad job, but he has these little bits of light on him that shine through. And the first half of the movie shows this to you. He has a very soft side. He has two turtles and a goldfish as pets in his dreary little terrible apartment. He has the turtles are named Cuff and Link, which is kind of funny. And they have a friend. The goldfish is Moby Dick. So when he comes home at night, he talks to the turtles, and he puts Moby Dick next to the turtles so they can talk to each other. And he's a very nice he's a nice guy. He goes to the pet shop and he plays with the puppies, and he's always good with them. He's very nice to Adrian. He's generally nice to people. There's a scene of him trying to get money out of a guy. He's supposed to collect $200. The guy obviously doesn't have $200, and his job is to collect the $200 or break the guy's thumbs. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't break his thumbs. He collects $130, and he tells the loan shark, "I think this guy will pay up next week." He's giving everybody else a chance, all right? And the loan shark says, "No, you're supposed to break his thumbs when I tell you to break his thumbs." And Rocky says, "I figured that if I broke his thumbs, then he'd get laid off, and then he couldn't earn the money, and then you'd never get paid back. So I figured it." And he's told, "No, don't do any figuring. You just do what I tell you." So he has a soft side. He's always he stops to chat with the derelict youth that are standing, the Utes probably, that are standing on the street corner. They're standing around the barrel with the fire. They stand around. The kids chat and they drink beer, and they ask Rocky to buy beer for them because they're only 16 or 17. Rocky's 30. And he is he looks out for them. He's very concerned for their welfare. There's a young lady, Marie, who is 12, I think, and he takes her out of that group and says, "Don't hang out with these guys. These guys are bad guys." He says, if you are who you hang out with, and he teaches her this lesson. He says, if you hang out with guys who are lemons, then you're going to get friends who are lemons. And if you hang out with smart people, you're going to get smart friends. And if you hang out with yo-yo people, you're going to get yo-yo friends. It's simple mathematics, he says. And so there's some, he's a good guy trying to do good things, but he can't catch a break. He's not a very good boxer. He's very sloppy. He's got bad footwork. He's a brute. He doesn't punch well. And the movie starts with him living his life here on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, 1975. And he goes through his day. And on Wednesday, he goes. It starts with him winning a fight against another guy who's a bum, and he gets some money. And the next day, he goes to his to the gym to get his stuff out of his locker and to do some training. And it turns out his locker's been taken away because the trainer thinks that he is a bum and he's not going to be good anymore. So he gave his locker to somebody else, and he has to keep his stuff in a bag on a hook. He's been relegated to being a bad guy. So that's where it starts on Wednesday. He tries to get Adrian to go out with him. He goes to Thanksgiving dinner with Paulie at the house that Paulie shares with his sister Adrian. And Paulie's just a bad guy. He's just bad all around. He's mean to his sister. He drinks all the time. He's not reliable. He wants something for nothing. He's not a good character. And Paulie mistreats his sister terribly. She takes very good care of him, and he accuses her of being a leech on him, and it's just not good. But this is Thanksgiving, right before the bicentennial. In 1976. 1976 was a really big year. It was a bicentennial year. It was 200 years since the founding of the nation. And the news that's in the background in all these scenes is this guy, Apollo Creed, who's the current world heavyweight champion. And he is going to have this great big fight on the first day of January 1976. And it is going to be the great athletic pinnacle of American tradition. Happy birthday, United States. You get to watch me fight. And Apollo Creed is a great character. He is everything he is like the trash talker of trash talkers. He was Deion Sanders before Deion. He was everything, and he was really good. He's played by Carl Weathers. and he's a perfect. He's great. He's one of my favorite characters, but he has no. He's gonna do this fight against this guy, Mac Green, I think the guy's name is, and it turns out Green broke his hand, and now Green can't fight. And the premise of the movie gets revealed about a third of the way in, is that Creed is going to offer a local unknown a shot to fight him for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And this is Apollo Creed believing in America being the land of opportunity. And they approach Rocky the day before Thanksgiving on this. They said, would you like to fight? Would you like to fight the champion for the championship? Would you want to fight the champion? And Rocky gets some bad information about this, and he says, "No, I don't want to fight him. I mean, I could be a sparring partner, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want to fight him." And he says, "Creed has picked you, and here's your opportunity to become something that you have never had a chance to do before." And he gets convinced. He gets talked into taking this opportunity to fight the champion. And possibly win the heavyweight title. So in the meantime, he has lost his locker at the gym, and the trainer at the gym doesn't like Rocky and then they get in a big shouting match. And Rocky says, for 6 years I've been coming here and I've been busting my tail, and now you take away my locker. What's your beef with me? What's the problem? And the guy says, "You don't want to know." And he says, "Yes, I do want to know." And they're shouting at each other, and everybody stops to watch. And he says, "I want to know why you don't like me." And the trainer said, "I don't like you because you had the talent to become a great fighter, but instead you have become a leg breaker for a second-rate loan shark." And Rocky is dumbstruck at that, and he says, "Well, it's a living." And Mickey, the trainer guy, says, "It's not a living. It's a waste of your life." And there's a piece there, and you can see that Rocky is good in this sense that he does all these little good things. But Burgess Meredith, the guy who played Penguin in the old Batman movies and TV shows, he is the trainer, and he said, "You could have been great, and you have thrown that away." And what's interesting to me is Rocky's response that it's a living. And Mickey says, "No." He tells him, "No, that's a waste of a life." So I see this. Mickey is this character that is, he has his own kind of, he has his own problems. He's an old guy. He's crotchety and cranky, just like you want a boxing trainer to be. But he wants what's best for Rocky. And Rocky does not see that. And Rocky thinks it's okay. Rocky thinks it's okay to not be great. Rocky thinks it's okay to not be all that he was designed to be. Mickey tells him, "You have the talent to be great, and you threw that away." And Rocky says, "It's a living." He says, I'm living my life." And Mickey says, "That's a waste of your life." So Mickey is a conscience figure here. Mickey is almost a God figure here in telling Rocky that you are not living life the way you were designed to live it. So think about what Rocky is. He's good on the surface with these things, but he's a sloppy boxer, and he lives kind of a derelict life, and he's chosen to be he's a leg breaker for a loan shark, okay? He should do better. Rocky is not practicing virtue. He is not living excellently. He is not being and becoming what he was designed to be and become. And the man who points that out to him is the trainer. Right? So there's this squabble back and forth about Rocky gets on Mickey, and he said, "I came to you for help, and you didn't answer me. You never listened to me." And what I'm hearing in this is, I'm like, "I prayed to you, God. I asked you for this. What did you do? And you didn't help me. You didn't help me. You didn't help me." And finally, Mickey just walks away. He just walks away, and Rocky gets inside himself and realizes that was not the right thing to do. He chases him down, and they agree to have Mickey train Rocky. Right, and what he does, what's really great, is Mickey trains up Rocky in the way that is good. He makes him disciplined. He gets him to be in balance. He teaches him how to be that person and that thing that he was made to be. Now, granted, yeah, it's a boxer. But if you're a 12-year-old kid, and particularly a 12-year-old boy or a 15-year-old boy, or you're learning what life is about, you have to recognize that you're being called to greatness, right? And the greatness is in becoming what you were designed to be. And Mickey trains Rocky to be that by doing what I tell you to do and doing it's the same as the Karate Kid. It's all of those same stories. You get to greatness not by just doing what you want to do, but by being disciplined and being virtuous. And that's the thing that Mickey gives to Rocky. He gives them the opportunity to really become something when he goes in the fight. So the fight comes around. Okay, it is the movie starts the week of Thanksgiving. By the end of the week of Thanksgiving, he is now going to fight the champ, and he now has a manager, right? Mickey says, what you need is a manager. And I never had a manager. You got to have a manager. And Mickey's going to be his manager and they get him lined up right. No smoking, no drinking, and lay off the dames, work on your footwork, and all the things that you should be doing, but you aren't doing. We're going to get you doing them. And then, of course, they have the wonderful, what do they call it? The training montage where, the music's playing and he's running through the streets of Philadelphia and he runs up to the top of the stairs and he jumps up and down. It's a wonderful thing to see him training and becoming what he can be, but he still has to fight the fight. He's only training for the fight. And his relationship then with Adrian grows and she becomes, she opens up to him more. She gets past some of her shyness, her probably pathological shyness is probably, there's something to be said for being shy and introverted versus outgoing and extroverted. But she is so painfully shy that it's a problem for her. But she has come out of some of that. She has grown because of him. The life that he is building now through this discipline is manifesting itself in all the people around him. They are becoming better people and doing better things. But we still see that he has his doubt, that he has to go fight Apollo Creed, who is the world champion. He's the best guy out there. And it turns out Creed is undefeated. He's 46-0 in his career, and no one has ever gone 15 rounds with Apollo Creed. No one's ever gone 15 rounds. He has won all those by either knockout or technical knockout. And Rocky says, I want to go the distance with Creed because nobody's ever done that. And if I can do that, then I won't just be a bum from the neighborhood. The word bum is thrown around a lot. And I don't know if that's a particularly Philadelphia word or if that's a particular mid-70s word, but that is loser is a translation of that. Rocky wants to do that, but he's scared that maybe he can't, and he always thinks that maybe he can't. But he has to face that. And I think the lesson here part is like a man must fight his dragon, even if he knows he's going to lose. You have to, if you're a young man growing up, and I can't speak for women because I'm not. A man must fight his dragon, and you must. That's how you determine who you are. And I don't know what your dragon is. My dragon, I think, was in academics, and it was fighting to get through the fear of not being able to pass the big test. That was the thing for me. It was very hard. But Rocky's dragon is, can he go into the ring with Apollo Creed and go 15 rounds? And so that's what he sets out to do. And the big fight is there, and he's a tremendous underdog. Apollo Creed is the great showman. He comes into the arena as George Washington, and he switches over to Uncle Sam, and he is a great showman. And the first round begins, and they're kind of the Apollo Creed is taunting and dancing and being kind of a showman, and Rocky knocks him to the floor. And that changes everything. And now Rocky has seen that his discipline and his work has made it possible for him to be in this fight. And now Apollo Creed sees that his arrogance and his showmanship should have been tempered with a little bit more humility. And Rocky floors Apollo Creed in the first round, and then Apollo Creed breaks Rocky's nose, which has never happened before in his fights. And they go through the boxing match, and the music starts then, okay. And then instead of the montage of the training, it's now a montage of the brutal fight, and it is a terrible fight. It is a terrible fight. It is as brutal as they come. It is now I don't know a lot about boxing. I just makes me want to not box. So, but it's a bad fight, and they go to the 15th round, and Rocky's still standing, and Creed is still standing, and Creed knocks Rocky down in the 14th round, and thinks he's won it with a technical knockout, and Rocky gets back up, and both of them at the end are like, whatever you do, we want to finish this fight. We're going to go all 15 rounds. We're going to finish this thing. And they do. They go 15 rounds. And at the end, Rocky has Creed on the ropes, and he is pummeling the heck out of him when the bell rings. So Creed gets saved by the bell. It goes to the judges. Then at that point, there are always 3 judges at these things, and then they score the judges. The judges score them. How many rounds did you think everybody won? And there's a split decision. So one guy thinks Rocky won more rounds. Another guy thinks Creed won more rounds. And then there's a third judge. And the third judge declares 8-7 that Creed beat Rocky. And at that time, Rocky is he can't see. His eyes are puffed shut. Creed's barely standing. There's people all over the ring because it's been the greatest fight ever. And Adrian is in the arena, and all Rocky wants at this point is Adrian. He wants to recognize the love that he has found through the discipline that was used to become great. And he gets Adrian at the end. She says, "I love you." He says, "I love you," and it's it. It's over. Right? It is a great story. Okay, and it's a story. I got it. It's a story. You could rewrite that story. You could make a version where Rocky, where he what do you call it? He sells off the fight. Okay, where he you could have a situation where he decides that he'll take $20,000 to take a fall. He could have done that. You could have a situation where Rocky goes, gets in the first round, just gets pummeled, and then goes back to being a loser on the street. But that's not a good story, because that's not how life works. We are called to be and to do what Rocky did. We're called to recognize where we're supposed to be good. We are called to discipline ourselves and train up to become the person we need to be so as to fight our dragons. That's the same story as it's in Arthurian legend. The same thing is, okay. So you got Rocky, who's King Arthur. You have Paulie, who is his friend, who's not very good. You got Adrian, who's Guinevere, who is the love interest. You have Merlin, the magician, is played by Mickey, the trainer. It's the same story. It's the same story, and it's also a redemption story of how a Rocky is kicked out of the garden. He's kicked out, and then he gets let back in. He's redeemed. He gets redemption by being disciplined and becoming the man he is supposed to be. And what you find, I think, is that greatness comes in all sorts of forms. And this is one of those places where you can do that. And the result is that you find love. Now, Rocky finds love in the person, and in the form of in the person of Adrian, and in the form of Eros. But there's bigger love. Everything around Rocky changes because of his discipline and his commitment to his craft. Because of his virtue, everything changes. And he owes all that to Mickey and to the hard work that he put in, and to the and to recognizing who he was called to be. Rocky is a movie that all 12-year-old boys should see. And I'm sure there are movies out there for girls. And maybe there are girls who would recognize their virtue in Rocky. Maybe. I don't know. If it is, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. Maybe I'll have somebody come on and tell me a good girl movie for 12-year-old girls to help them follow their virtue. But I just think it's a great story. It's full of gentle humor. It's the cinematography is really good. The story is great. And even though it's fiction, it reveals truth. And that's why we read fiction, and that's why we read stories. So for all of you out there, I want to encourage you to do as Rocky did. Seek the good, then be the good and spread the good, and enjoy the adventure of life.